In this video, I am going to show you how to make this kind of neomorphic motion graphic in DaVinci Resolve. So here we are on the edit page of DaVinci Resolve. Let's go to the effect library. Then effect, and drag and drop a fusion composition onto your timeline. Now with your playhead over the fusion composition, click the fusion tab and go to the fusion page. Okay, now we are set to go. Drag and drop a background to your node 3 area. Connect it to the media out node. Now set it to transparent. Now add another background. And for this new background, we are going to set the color to 4 corners. Now you can choose gradient to any colors that you want. For me, I will go with these ones. Something like this. Okay, now that we have our background with the color selected, let's define the shape for it. In this case, let's use ellipse. So with this ellipse, we have something like this now. You can adjust the size by right-clicking the height, then go to expression. Now drag this plus and connect it to the width. This way we can now adjust its size together. So we set it to something like this. Add a transform node. This, just drag it from here, then drop it between this. Now we drop this transform over here. You don't have to do it this way, but we will talk more about why we are setting things up this way. You understand why I'm doing it this way in just a moment. Now let's add another transform, and now add Gaussian blur. Shift space bar, then search Gaussian blur and add it just like this. So as you can see, the Gaussian blur is already blurring our image. You can either increase it to get something like this or decrease it. We'll get there later. With this, you can either copy and paste this and make a few changes or bring in another one. So in my case, I'll bring another background, then connect it here. Now let me explain why I have this particular transform set up over here. This transform is to make sure that any changes that I make to this particular transform will affect any other thing that is over here. So now that we have this background, set it to white or any color that you are interested in. In my case, I set it like this, and copy and paste this particular ellipse, and you have something like this. Add a drop shadow. So shift space bar, drop shadow, and add it over here. Now with this transform selected, adjust this transform like this so that it will expose the element we have behind the white shape. Now, as you can see, when we rotate it, it's only the colors that are moving. Let's just for a moment, let's place this here so you can see the difference. So now when we rotate this, you can see that it's only the colors that are moving. For us to get the kind of rotation you saw during the intro of this video, here's what we are going to do. Let's reset this back to its original position. Okay, here's what we are going to do. Select the transform and check invert transform. Once you have it this way, now when you use the rotation, you can see it is rotating around our ellipse. So you can see. Now what you are going to do is with the Gaussian blur, you can now increase the Gaussian blur to get something like this. Now when you rotate it again, to give you something like this. But let's place this on a white background so that you can see something I want to point out. Instead of transparent, let's make it now opaque and then change the color to white so that you can see what we are dealing with over here. So now with this transform selected, when we come over here and we drag it, you can see the drop shadow is still at its original position. So to fix something like that, we have to mask the drop shadow with this ellipse mask. Connecting its output to the drop shadow's blue input, like this. This way the drop shadow will follow the rotation in the direction that we want it to go. So we have something like this. You don't really need the drop shadow if all you want is just what we were doing previously. But there is something I will show you which makes this drop shadow really very important. So now what you can do is you can just keyframe your angle and you have your rotation ongoing. So let's go to, let's say, frame 0 and set a keyframe on the angle. At frame 0 we want it to be 0, and then move a few frames forward depending on how long you want it to rotate, and then type in any number you want. In this case, I'll just go with 1000. And now when we play through it, we have something like this. And just like that, you have made that neomorphic effect. Now, what do I mean by what I said about the drop shadow? When you select this particular ellipse and you increase the soft edge, look at what will happen to the shape. You see that is giving us this dark fade. So if you have the drop shadow, that is what will happen. But let's turn off the drop shadow and you will see that it will be a mix up. So if you need that, then it's important you add the drop shadow. But if you don't need that, then there is no need for the drop shadow. Everything will still work out without the drop shadow. And just like that, now you have something like this. You can change the color to anything you want and you are good to go. If you don't like it too, you can just reset your soft edge and you have it like this. If you want this as an edit page tool where you just drag and drop it and make a few adjustments instead of going through all of these long processes, then you can get it from the link in the description below. Yeah, so now that you have this, you can add text, you can add anything you want and make all kinds of changes to it. Okay, now let's go ahead and add some text. Let's just drag and drop this particular text plus node over here. And then let's connect it like this. Connect it like this. Right now you can't see anything. The reason is because the text, we haven't written anything. But we are not going to write. Instead, what we will do is right click the text box, then click time code. Just like that, you have this time code, and when you play through every frame, it will start counting up. So now let's change the color of the text. At this point, you can't see the text is because the default color is white and our element is also white, so it's blended. What we have to do is change the color to, let's say, black, this. But the code is all over the place. Now, when we play through, this is how it will look. At every frame, it will start counting, just like that. So what you can do is go to the right on control. And if you want to decrease it from the frames, you use the end side. So like this. But if you want to remove some of the numbers from the R point to the minutes and seconds, then you use the start point like this. In our case, we keep it like this. And then we'll just reposition it to the center. And we have something like this. You can choose to increase the size or make any changes you want. Let's just add a drop shadow. Just like that, we have something like this. Let's make it very zero. We decrease the shadow strength. So we have something like this. And just like that, you have officially made this clean looking animation. Just like that. If we extend our fusion camp, it will also continue just as we have done it like this. So it depends on you. You see that the animation of the rotation stopped. Okay. So now, let me explain why I set things up this way. So from what we see here now, with this particular transform, you can now control everything together. Let's say, for example, we want to move it. See, we can move everything together. No need to be moving them separately. It's more efficient this way. But let's say we want to move only the colored neon. If you want, you can add glow or anything to make it pop. It's up to you. To do that, we will use only this transform and it will move just that one. So with this transform, you see, you can make all kinds of changes. Maybe you don't want it there, you want it like this, or you want to increase or decrease the size. That way you are only controlling it, nothing else. And if you want to change the size or something, here you can either also add another transform or you use this ellipse, control this particular one, like we did at the beginning of this video, like this. And if you want to do for just the text, it has its own transform, so there is no need for that. But if you don't want to be jumping around clicking the text before you go to transform, or whatever option you use, the layout, then you can just add another transform that will control the text and is drop shadow together. Okay, let's reset everything and continue from there. You see that the animation of the rotation stopped. So to keep it going, we have to go to the sign editor, then select the transform on which we made the animation. Check it, zoom to fit. Let's pop this thing out so we can see like this. Select all and then set to loop or relative, and you get similar rotation in this case. But in some cases, there will be a slight difference between the relative and the loop. In this case, either of them work. Regardless of the length of the clip, it will be continued when you have something like this. But if you want to learn how to make clean, professional, and modern animations like bounce, elastic, and all kinds of other modern animations, then watch this video next.